Okay, good. How are you all? No, don't need that. Okay. So I'm going to do a demo on VLANing on and Inter-VLAN routing. Okay, so I've got a bit of a setup here. All the addressing's done except for a couple of little things. And so basically we've got a couple of switches. They haven't been configured at all. The hosts have, the routers have, except for the gigabit here. So first thing I need to do is do connections. So I'm going to do G00 to gigabit interface there. So that's the physical stuff done. And so then from there, we basically need to create the VLANs and then do the VLAN assignments and the like. So on the switches, I'm going to have two VLANs. And so there's VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. I've just called VLAN 10 sales and VLAN 20 admin, but you know. And so these are the commands we use there. So of course, enable, configure terminal. Then once you're in global config mode, VLAN 10 will create the VLAN. It will actually change modes, and you can then give it a name. Then you do VLAN 20, will create that, and you'll be able to give that a name as well. And so that's pretty much all that's required. So we'll copy, and we'll do this on both switches because they both need to have the same VLANs created. And so no error messages, that's good. And so if we do show VLAN, you can see there's VLAN 10 sales, VLAN 20 admin, but there are no ports on it yet, so I haven't done VLAN assignments yet. So that's fine. If we do show now, I think I've actually seen it. No, it's not there. Oh, I don't know what switch I was looking at previously, but it was actually shown in the config. All right. So if we do show flash, you'll notice that there's now a VLAN.dat file. And so that's actually where the VLAN configuration is stored. And so if you wish to reset a switch, you need to get rid of the startup config, and you also need to get rid of VLAN.dat. So there's an extra step on a switch compared to a router to reset it. Okay, so we'll do the VLAN assignments here as well. That's all very nice. Now, and so again, this will be show VLAN. And so, yeah, two VLANs are there, but there's no ports in them yet. So, all right. So, so now we need to make some ports members of those VLANs. And so, port 1 on both switches, I'm going to put them into access mode. So that manually makes it access mode as opposed to dynamic. And this command will actually make it so. Sorry, manually in access mode means it can't make a trunk link, so that's always a good plan. And then this will actually make it a member of VLAN 10. And so port 2 has got the VLAN 20 host, so you can see PC10, PC20, PC10, PC20. And so that has the same settings except it's VLAN 20. Now, on the switches, now this first switch actually has both gigabit ports are trunk ports because this has got those two links there that need to be trunk links. This one only has the one. I can't remember which one it is actually. G02. But you know, it's not going to hurt in our example. And so if we do this, copy, paste. Can't see any errors. So if we do show VLAN now, you notice that port 1 is now a member of sales and port 2 is a member of admin. You'll notice that G02 is now not in this listing because it's actually not a member of VLAN anymore. It's a trunk link, and so it's it's gone. And so the reason it's a trunk link is because it's auto-negotiated the same plan on the other end now too. But I will also do this on this switch as well. And so if we do show VLAN, yeah, gigabit 2 has disappeared from this listing, and port 1 and port 2 are members of VLANs 10 and 20 as per the way we did the others. So if we look at show run, you can see that I've made the gigabit ports trunk links, and I've made, that's where the those commands have gone for the VLAN and access modes. So that's pretty much what we need to do. Is you need to create VLANs, and then you assign ports to them. That's basically all you need to do on the switches. Now, I'll just have a bit of a play with this host. And so if I do IP config, it's 10.11 is its IP address. Now 10.12 is the other host on the same VLAN, and that's on the different switch. So we're testing that the trunk link works and that they're on the same VLAN. So that does work. So that's a happy situation. Let's try pinging 2012. That should actually fail because it's on a different VLAN. So it's not going particularly happily there. Also, I could try pinging 2011 as well once it's finished. So again, different VLAN but same switch, just to try out the other scenario. 2011. That should not work either. And so, yes, that's failing as well. So, to get that to work, if that was a valid thing to happen, well, of course, we need some inter-VLAN routing. Now, so on this router here, I've configured the serial interface. I think I've configured some static routes as well. Just trying to remind myself. This is this, so en show run. Let's see what we've done. So it's, I didn't even name it. So there's nothing configured on the gigabits. There is serial interface. There is a default route, just so you can actually ping a little further afield if you wish to test things. And so that's all that's been done. Now, I think I plugged in the G00 from memory. Yes, I did. So we'll actually need to configure this interface, and we'll actually also need to do some sub interfaces. Now, I've got the configuration here. So enconf-t. So G00, the physical interface, all you need to do for that is type in no shut. That will just turn it on, so it'll get that light to green. Then you need to create a sub interface. Now, you can call a sub interface any number you like, but it's the most common sort of convention that if it's on VLAN 10, you'll call it sub interface 10. I could have called it 1, I could have called it 500, but we've got a wide variety of numbers. Why not make it self-documenting, basically? And so G00.10, then you do the encapsulation. So in other words, look for .1q field in the Ethernet headers, and .10 is for this interface, .20 is for the other interface. And so if they arrive with a 10 in it, we'll accept it on this interface. If we're sending on it, of course, we need to add the 10 into the .1q header. And of course, it needs an IP address, and so that's the host, that's the gateway IP address. And so if you hover over here, you'll see that I've got 10.1 there already. And so again, another sub interface for VLAN 20. Get .1q configured, give it an IP address, and that's all you need to do. So we'll just copy and paste into here. No error messages. Interface is going up. Let's do show run. And so as you can see, G00 doesn't need an IP address. All the physical settings, of course, do need to be put on this physical interface, but on the left them pretty much default. Of course, I did a no shut on it, so it's gotten rid of the shutdown line on it. And then the two sub interfaces have been created here. So if we look at the routing table, show IP route, yes, we have some extra interfaces. And so 192.168.10, and as you can see, we've got the two entries for the connected network and the local address. And so, and it's G00.10. And the other one, of course, for VLAN 20 is G00.20. And so that all seems to be working quite nicely. So now, back to this host. Let's try those the pings that failed before. They should actually succeed now. Now, of course, the pings are actually going to go up via the router and then back down again. Again, you have to do the trunk link to the router. And 12, of course, is the host on the other switch. Art request. And so that's how you create VLANs. That's how you make them active on ports, and that's how you do inter-VLAN routing. So it's not tough. So of course that's great, but of course having this inter-VLAN routing, I suppose you've cut down on a lot of broadcasts, but of course you haven't really added a great deal of security. But of course, with these new interfaces, you can actually apply access control lists to them, which is a topic we'll be doing in the near future. And yeah, we'll be able to actually add some security to those interfaces so that yeah, you can control traffic between those VLANs now. So that's the basic upside of having VLANs, is you can decrease your broadcasts, and of course you can then yeah, add some security in between as well. So I suppose the only thing I haven't done is ping that, isn't it? So 50.2. Okay, so it all seems to be quite a happy little setup now. So that's VLANs and inter-VLAN routing done. It's not particularly tough, just, you know, slightly different concepts: creating the VLANs, applying the VLAN, well, you know, assigning the VLANs to interfaces, and of course inter-VLAN routing is then required. So of course doing this, what we call route on the stick. The beauty of it is, if I add another VLAN, all I have to do is another sub interface. That's all I need to do. I don't need a new physical interface to do it. And so certainly, you know, it is a much more scalable solution for VLANing than having the legacy inter-VLAN routing, where you had to have a separate physical interface for each one. And so you also need a physical interface on that switch as well to be able to do it. So it does make it more scalable and more affordable. Okay, guys, that'll be it for the video, and yeah, I'll see you for the next topic. Have a good one.